Well, Donald Trump is now one step closer in his fight to reclaim the White House after a marathon speech that closed out the Republican National Convention.
With faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you.
Trump formally accepted the Republican nomination for president last night and gave his first speech since he survived an assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. Trump spoke for over an hour and a half, the longest ever televised speech given by a presidential candidate accepting the nomination. So did Trump's speech resonate with voters, and how will it impact their decision in November? To answer these questions and more, I'd like to bring in Linda Feldmann. She's in Washington, Bureau Chief for the Christian Science Monitor, and we've reached her in Hot Springs, Virginia. Thank you for making the time.
Sure, my pleasure.
Well, Trump accepted the RNC nomination for the third time yesterday and gave a lengthy acceptance speech. So what did you make of it?
Well, I thought the first 15 minutes were absolutely spellbinding. He described moment by moment the attempt on his life, having a bullet whiz by, nick his ear, sort of the emotions, how the Secret Service reacted. And he said this is the only time he's ever going to describe this because he's still, frankly, traumatized. But then it devolved into sort of the greatest hits of Donald Trump. He had said he wouldn't mention Joe Biden by name, but of course he did. Things like crazy Nancy Pelosi, referring to the former Speaker of the House, talking about how all the things he's going to do that are very much, energizing to his crowd, to the people in the hall, but, to wider American electorate, I'm not sure that he won over any new voters.
Now, Linda, previously Trump said that, he rewrote his speech to focus more on unity. Let's take a listen to part of what he said.
I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation. To every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman, Democrat, Republican or independent, black or white, Asian or Hispanic, I extend to you a hand of loyalty and of friendship. Together we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before.
Do you think he delivered a unifying message?
He did at the beginning. I think he truly is trying to reach out to a very diverse American populace. And if you looked at the crowd, this was visible on television. I've been to every Republican convention since 1996, except, of course, this one. And it was usually very white, very kind of sort of a certain type, I'd say, Main Street Republicans. Now you had a very diverse look, people of all colors. Of course, they're all decked out. But this is, in a way, demonstrates the challenge to the Democrats in holding on to the presidency, that what are considered their typical constituents, minorities, women, Donald Trump is making inroads.
Now, you touched on this earlier, Linda, but Trump began his speech with a personal story, a step-by-step retelling of his attempted assassination. How do you think that will resonate with Americans?
I think it was just gripping, and I think that's the part. The good news for Donald Trump is that his speech began very, very late in the evening, at least East Coast time. And that's the part that people will hear and will likely focus on. Anybody who stuck it out to the bitter end, it ended after midnight, East Coast time. It was just classic Donald Trump, which is exhausting to a lot of people. Most Americans don't want either Donald Trump or Joe Biden to be the choice. So this is what the Republicans are putting forth. Unlike the Democrats, the Republican ticket is locked in. J.D. Vance, 39 years old, obviously represents the face and the future of the Republican Party. But Donald Trump is the top of the ticket, and he will not let us forget that going forward till Election Day.
Okay, and for those undecided voters who watched last night's speech, do you think what they heard will impact their decision in November?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, I think in some ways Donald Trump humanized himself. I mean, not many of us have been shot at with a bullet, but to see, you know, his love for his family. We saw that a couple of nights ago with his granddaughter addressing the convention. Very, very moving, compelling. You could see the love in his face. Donald Trump's references to God in his speech last night. He's not seen as a godly man. Maybe this will change him in some way and make him, you know, more sympathetic, more appealing. But you know, who knows? I mean, Americans are sick of you know, the division, and there's no doubt that Donald Trump does have a very large divisive streak in him, which we saw a lot of last night. So I really don't know.
Okay, Linda, thank you so much for your time this morning. Linda Feldmann is the Washington bureau chief and a White House correspondent at Christian Science Monitor.